to my channel. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a song right now. Just make it my wuku instead of the big one. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about. I thought it would be more story times, but I think it's gonna be one story time. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of try to do work while I'm speaking because it is the best time for me to speak and do work at the same time. So okay, I need to try to remember which gate it is. I have a book that's got a lot of my human design information. It's got my astrology information. It's got some of my downloads. And when I say downloads, if you're not spiritual, then explains downloads as in like information from source, basically. But I don't always write it out here. Like I find different things online to write about, like how to make money. Second house is money, and then you find like the planet that rules your the sign that rules your second house, and the planet that rules that sign, where's that sign and what planet it's in, but like I said before, when it comes to those kinds of things, your intuition sort of connects to it, and I'm sure I said that before. I've also looked at my Black Moon Lilith child, okay, my birth chart, like just looking at also writing down certain things so I know what I'm talking about instead of like confusing myself. Business astrology, woo. And then the gene keys. Gene keys is actually what I use for my readings. Life's work, Pearls of Wisdom, and Venus Love. The Blossom Kids one I created myself, and I just put what I think it's best for parents to know about their children. And honestly, if you are a parent and you still haven't gotten a reading from me, I suggest you get it now, especially if your child is under the age of 14. If they're over it, you can still do it. It gets a bit more difficult as the years go by. It gets a bit more difficult for us to actually be able to align ourselves with our blueprint. Like, for example, me, I'm a 33-year-old woman who basically doesn't actually always follow my gut, for example, because of certain ways of living. So now I have to learn how to integrate that into my life and unlearn 33 years of, I wouldn't say 33 years, it's probably less because I learned about human design 2 years ago, so it is probably less at this point. Okay, so I was going to talk about, there's a gate that I have, the Buddha gate, gate 31, which is under Pearls of Wisdom, right? And I don't think it's in my incarnation cross, but for some reason it's one of the gates that have really pulled me into, I guess, understanding my...
Yeah, so I was talking about how I'm really, really ambitious, and it actually shows in the placements I have in the chart. And I'm obviously looking at tropical astrology. I'm still trying to understand Vedic astrology, and I'm trying to also understand African or Kemetic astrology as well. And when it comes to African Kemetic astrology, weirdly enough, it's more of, I don't know how to explain it. Like a lot of the things that I know, especially about Kemet, are more downloads than like information from source than me actually reading about it. And it's the weirdest thing for me. It still freaks me out. But we move. So cool. My pearls of wisdom, I have gate 53 of beginnings, which is basically also in my inclination cross, which basically means that I need to be able to begin and end the cycles correctly. And I talk about this all the time. Um, I have gate 52 of inaction, which has to do with endurance and concentration. And that has a lot to do with me being a generator and pushing through and not giving up. And I think the biggest thing for me is I've always tried to start businesses with other people. I've always tried to work with other people and benefit other people, especially people that are like close to my heart. And majority of the time, it doesn't really work. It doesn't really work. So I think the endurance part is definitely me um, learning to pivot. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned in terms of being a generator, especially a sacral generator, whose sacral is connected to my root and whose spleen is also connected to my root, and needing to be grounded, needing to be hopeful, understanding that I am God, understanding, especially now my perspective, understanding that it's survival and understanding what it is that will help me in the process of doing all these things to feel good about myself, you know? So I'm going to start with the things that I have tried to start. So um, I did try to start an event business. I did speak about this before, or events. I've always loved events, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I love my job right now. I don't necessarily like coordinating events, but I love planning them. Like literally, if you can just give me a job that says plan events and then somebody else coordinates, that is perfect because that means that my creative side can do well, and the side of me that doesn't necessarily like being in crowds, which is usually my empath side, um, usually the side that my five line side where people like to, I guess, expect things from me, and it's a lot. Okay, so I mean, if I could just do the planning, I think that would be great, and have somebody else do the actual coordination, so I don't have to finish my cycle energy on a day where, I mean, come on, I would delegate if I could. And then I have the gate 31 of the. So if you want a reading of the Pearl of Wisdom one, like I did write a tweet about it. In terms of my readings, it's best for you to start with life's work. Life's work has a lot more to do with your incarnation cross, and I basically break it down for you and how it is best for you to live your life. And then the one after that, which I think usually is quite good, is Venus Love, because Venus is the ruler of love and money and other things, obviously. But those are the ones that I tend to focus on, and anything that comes up from the reading. I mean, the Pearls of Wisdom one, I would say, would be the last one to get because it usually entails a lot of what would have already been spoken about in the life's work and in Venus Love readings. So, yes, I have the Buddha Gate 31, which is leadership. But I need to be, it is a projected gate, which means that I need to be invited to be a leader. And I mean, it makes sense because a lot of the time when I put myself in a leadership position, like with my events company, nothing happened. I literally tried my best to keep the group together. Yeah, I tried to put the group together. I tried to put the information together. I was that into it. And you know what's the funny thing? I always like get shocked about how much work, how much energy I put into things until I actually look back and I'm like, damn. Like it wasn't just an idea. I wasn't daydreaming. I was literally putting in the work. I literally found suppliers. I found ways to work with these suppliers. I found what it is that we needed to do in order to get the business up and running, like business plans and registering the name, and all these tedious, little, irritating little different things that eventually they get annoying because if you don't have anybody to help you out, it's like, why the fuck am I doing it? So anyway, cool. The other one I did was I wanted to do my man. Interior design is one thing that will always break my heart because I've always wanted to be an interior designer, and that has been like my solid dream since I was a kid. Like I know 12 is not kid, but like yo, that's like before like a dollar. So like literally like that was me. Just that was my dream. And I've had a lot of dreams, bro. And there's so many that I just like look back on and I'm like, oh man, like oh man, But yeah, if you want to know my dreams, you can watch my I think it's called Get to Know Me. I think I did a Get to Know Me video like 5 years ago, and those were my dreams, and they've kind of fallen on the wayside. Um, so yeah, I also started at interior design, and it's a funny thing with interior design. I think I started off well because I was invited. Basically, I was recognized or whatever. Generator came into my aura, and they were like, "Yeah, we want to," and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do this." But there's some projects that I did, and I think that's the part where I might have failed because I will show you what it is and the ideas before you pay me. I'm literally like that. I even now when I have my human design and my Inside Organics company, I literally will find like I'm the kind of person who wants to give. And if you don't have the money and I can see you suffering, I want to give it to you. I want you to feel like there's something that I've given to you. And if you want to um, give that energy back to me, great. And a lot of the time I realize that it's actually not such a great thing to have. Like, there's a lot of um, there's a lot of spiritual people that I follow right now who are very, and I love it. They're very hell bent on like expressing how much spiritual practitioners are. I guess not you. Spiritual practitioners aren't respected, basically. Just because it's something that I get intuitively, it's information that I get intuitively. Um, like just because it's something that we get intuitively, or that source just is like, here you go. I think it's almost like saying a singer. It's like saying a singer doesn't deserve to get paid for their concerts because they can naturally sing, and that's their talent. Anyway, cool. So, so yes, I did interior design. That kind of dropped it well. Then I was a music manager. Oh my god. Yo, the last 10 years I've done a lot. I was a music manager. I managed some musicians that were my friends and my partner's friends. And that actually was going really well at the beginning. I was able to get them into competitions. They did really well in these competitions. Some of them won, you know. Um, but I do realize the way that it happened wasn't necessarily a generator way. Like my Seiko was saying yes, but it wasn't a generator way. I initiated more than um, yeah, I initiated it more, and I think I had more hope. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
I recorded a whole damn 2 minutes with my headphone sound. I'm still gonna use it. I'm gonna edit the shit out of it so it can be heard because it needs to be heard. Anyway, so cool. These are things that are really good to know and understand because I've started a lot of businesses, and the way you start them is obviously very important. Being a generator, letting it come into your aura, so knowing what it is that you want to do, showcasing what it is that you can do or what you're learning, what you're interested in, just like any of the other types, and allowing people to come to you and come into your aura and stuff like that. And then obviously using your sacral yeses and nos to know what is for you and what isn't, and then you use your motivation to start the project, and then you use your perspective to continue the so yeah, but I think I've done really well in terms of human design and Mhlari organics, because those two, I started them well. Those two, I started them in a space where I kind of already knew about human design. I knew certain things that I needed to, like, the ways I needed to move, you know? So I think those two are gonna do really well. And I also think that the giving up bug that I had, oh god, I had a giving up bug. And as a generator, you're not supposed to give up, you're supposed to carry on. And yes, you are allowed breaks, because generators have a tendency to have interests everywhere, and because we are not manifesting generators who can do everything at once, we are generators, we need to put in the energy that we can to each little project when that gut feeling is like, oh yes, that one, you know. So I think that's the way I've been trying to go about it. So there's also something else that I wanted to share before I go off. So the other thing that really helped me is a video that I saw from, I think her name is Blue. Oh god, I'm gonna try find her name and then I'll put it below as a link so you can check it out. But she spoke about business astrology and how to get into businesses, right? And the way you do it, I'll try to put the link below so she can explain a bit. She explains it much better. But you basically look at your midheaven, right? And then you look at your second house, your sixth house, and your 10th house. I think that's how it is. Yeah, I think that's the way you're supposed to look at it. But also it does depend. It does depend on the ruler of the midheaven. It depends on the ruler of the second house, you know. So there's all these things, and looking at the aspects, and it has really allowed me to see that yes, I am doing the right businesses when it comes to human design. Like, it's literally Luna's sunflower, self-love, human design, like finding your self-love, right? And then it's Mhlari organics, like leaves, plants. it's literally about healing yourself from the inside out in both ways, you know. Herbally that's right, herbally and spiritually, getting yourself into a space where you can get absolutely everything that you want, because you are aligned, because nothing is fogging up your brain, nothing is fogging up the way you think, the way you speak, the way you are, you know. And there's nothing to hinder you, you know. That's one of the reasons why I'm so happy about it, because it proves that I am in the right space, especially because my second house is ruled by Taurus, and then Taurus is ruled by Venus, and my Venus is in the 6th house. The 6th house has to do with service, adaptability, health, you know, like literally health. So yeah, those are the kinds of things. But I will try to see if I can do an in-depth video, because not a lot of people actually click on the links that I put below. But if you are serious about what you want to do in your life, especially now before 2024 ends, get yourself into a space where you are able to understand what your creativity is. Okay? Read The Big Leap. Understand your zone of genius. Understand what it is that you do automatically and that you love, and then see how it is that you can incorporate it by doing this business astrology, and then also seeing if you're unable to do the business astrology, let me know. I don't charge a lot for these services. I try to keep my services as affordable as possible so that we can all win, because I feel like literally God being everything and energy being everything literally means that everything and everyone needs to do well. Okay, so get on it, be with it. Yeah, I think I'm done. I'm gonna have to edit that 10 minutes of talking. Jesus. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.